Hi! In this tutorial video, I'm going to show you how you can calculate the mean and the standard deviation of data that is given to you in a frequency table using your TI calculator. A frequency table is they've taken the data and they've grouped it into intervals, but we can still calculate the mean and the standard deviation of grouped data. So using your frequency table, this is how we put it into our calculator. You're going to press Stat and Edit, so Enter, to go into your lists in your calculator. If you have data in your lists, you're going to want to clear them. So scroll up until you highlight the list name, press Clear, and then press Enter. This will clear all the data in that list. A note of caution here, if you highlight the list title and press Delete, you will actually delete list 1 from this screen. The easiest way to recover it is to reset your calculator memory. Alright, so now that we have our lists cleared, we can enter our data. In list 1, you want to calculate the midpoints of the intervals from your frequency table, and that's what you put in list 1. For the frequency table that I'm using, the first interval is from 3 to 5. So the midpoint, or the middle of that interval, would be 4. So I'm going to enter 4 and press Enter to put it into the list. The next interval is from 5 to 7. So the midpoint would be 6. The next interval is from 7 till 9. So you're going to put the midpoint of 8. The next interval is from 9 to 11, so the midpoint is 10. The next interval is from 11 to 13, so it has a midpoint of 12. And the last interval is from 13 to 15, so the midpoint is 14, and press Enter. So I have 6 intervals in my frequency table, and those are all the midpoints of those intervals. Now scroll over to the right to put your highlighted cursor into list 2. In list 2, we are going to enter the frequencies for those intervals. The first interval has a frequency of 7. The next interval had a frequency of 11. The third interval had a frequency of 16. The next interval had a frequency of 19. The next one, a frequency of 12. And the last interval had a frequency of 5. So we don't know the actual data values, we just know how many data values were in each interval. But that's okay, our calculator can still calculate the mean and the standard deviation of this data. Now that we have our midpoints of our intervals in list 1 and the frequencies in list 2, I can calculate those mean and standard deviations. Go to your Stat button again, press Stat, scroll over to the Calc menu, and select 1var Stats. On your home screen now, you will see 1var Stats. So we need to tell the calculator where to look for the data. The midpoints of the intervals has to be listed first. So because we used list 1 for that, I'm going to type in L1 by pressing second and 1. Next, I have to put a comma. And then after the comma, I put where the frequencies are listed. Well, we put the frequencies in list 2, so I'm going to press second 2 to enter L2 for list 2. That's enough information for the calculator. Now we can press Enter, and the calculator tells us our statistics for that data. In the first row, it tells us X bar, which is the mean, of 8.9, 4, etc. The second row is the sum of the data values. So all the data values added together will give us 626. The third row is the sum of the squares of the data values. So the calculator has taken each data value, squared it, and added them together. The next row is a standard deviation, which we do not use in this course. The next row is sigma x, which is the standard deviation that we do use, 2.78. N is the number of data values entered. There were 70, so if we would have added all the frequencies together, we would have had a total of 70 data values. This arrow here in the bottom left tells me that there's more data below, so I can scroll down to the bottom to get that data. The next row was minimum data value, which was 4. The Q1 and Q3 we do not use in this course either. MED is the median, so the median of the data values was 10, and the maximum data value was 14. This is how you calculate the mean and standard deviation for grouped data. Thanks for watching.